I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, I want to show you some of my favorite new features in firmware 12 for the FM3. This is currently in a public beta at the moment. If you want to download it, be sure to read the release notes and to back up your unit and particularly your user cabs on here because there's quite a few new features in here. There are some new dyna cabs, some new amp models, there's a new compressor, there's a great pitch block update. Pretty much everything that has recently been added to the Axe FX3 that's relevant on the FM3 is now in there. So we get all those great advantages. And I want to start out with this preset that I've built with the Deluxe 6G3. This is a new model. Very easy to dial in. You got a gain and a tone control. Crank the gain up till you get the amount of breakup you like, and then use the tone like a brightness control. Let's have a listen to it with a couple of my favorite Dynacab combos on here. We've got the 1x12 Vibrato Lux, a dynamic and ribbon blend, the new 1x12 Black Magic Dynacab on here, and then this 1x12 Schultz Dynacab on here. I've paired it up with the large tiled room reverb, and I'm playing on the neck single coil mode of this Sir Modern Pro. There's a bunch of other Dynacabs to explore in there as well. I think these are fantastic additions. I particularly like this 1x12 Schultz Dynacab. Just keep in mind that this is now going to halve the available number of user cabs you can load into your FM3. Previously, it was 1,024. Now it's going to be 512. Just be sure to back up your unit before you do any update. It is best practices. That way, if there's something in the update you don't like or you need to roll back, you've always got a copy of it. So back up your user cabs before you do this, and then you can explore these wonderful Dynacabs. I think 512 user slots is still way more than I would ever use. All right, let's move along. On scene 2, I've added the new Citrus Juicer compressor on here. I did a Tuesday Tone Tip a couple of weeks ago about this one. I just really like these settings here with the threshold at -28, compression at 8, and a little lift from the level. I've added 3 dB. I just like this as an overall tonal enhance, and it plays really nice with these lower gain amp models and single coils on here. Very tasty indeed. I'm going to leave that Citrus Juicer on. The auto swirl function in the volume block has been updated and improved. I did a video about this over on my channel if you really want to get into depth with it, but my starting point with this guitar is now the S taper on the volume taper. I've got the type to auto swell. I've turned the threshold up somewhere between say -40 and -30, and I've just increased the attack to 200 milliseconds. I have paired that with the new surround delay type in here and the awesome Stratocumulus reverb. Let's have a listen to some nice big swells on here. The feature that I think is going to make the most number of people happy on here, though, are the improvements to the pitch block, in particular the virtual capo. The tracking stability and overall latency has been improved, much like the Axe FX3 versions on here. And again, if you've never used the virtual capo before, what it's doing is polyphonically retuning your guitar. So I'm actually currently in drop C on this guitar. So if I played what looks like a D minor chord, it's actually going to sound like a C minor chord, but I can use this virtual capo here to take me even lower or to retune myself up higher. So let's say that I wanted to play a song that was down half a step. I'd place the virtual capo somewhere early in the chain. I've set the detector source to input 1, where I've got my guitar plugged in. That means that if I want to put a compressor or a synth block before it, then this will still detect the pitch coming from my guitar and track nice and accurately. But have a listen to this. It's kind of like magic. What really impresses me about that is there's none of those tremolo style artifacts on here. Of course, make sure that your guitar's properly set up when you're using technology like this as well. Make sure your guitar's in tune. There's a great onboard tuner with your FM3 and that you've set the intonation and it will sound fantastic. So the virtual capo in the pitch block is lovely. One of my favorite additions in here, though, are the new tracking modes for the synth, pitch, and ring mod block in here. There's a new bass tracking mode for the ring mod and the synth in here. And if you're playing in a low tuning like I am, I would actually set the tracking mode to bass, so anything below standard guitar tuning on there. And this funky kind of ring mod thing that I've set up over here, I've got the pitch tracking on, the frequency multiplier at 0.5, it's going to give me an old school octave style effect. Let's have a listen to guitar tracking mode, and I'll play that low C, then I will switch it over to bass. Trick is so fun, and having that extended tracking range on there works and sounds great. The same thing applies to the synth block in here. What I've done is I've set up a pair of saw waves with some very slight detuning on each of them. Then I've got a square wave 1 octave lower. So going for like a Moog Taurus style effect on here with some filtering. Got it in guitar tracking mode at the moment, but again, for those low notes, have a listen to what happens when I set it to bass tracking on there, particularly on that low C. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to kick on the pitch block arpeggiator, which has been updated for an arpeggio sequence on here. If you want to get into depth with this one, again, I will link a video that I did on my channel going through all of these settings, but let's have a listen to the synth update on here. nice little trick that I've been using on here is to go to my favorite high gain amp, the FAS Stealth Blue, and rather than use, say, the preamp tab in the amp block or a dedicated drive block for a boost, to use this citrus juicer. So turn the threshold all the way down, crank the compression and the drive along with the level. This gives you an awesome boost in front of an already dirty amp. It just adds a bit of grit and character that you wouldn't otherwise get out of a dedicated drive or clean boost on there. Check this out, then I'll chuck the surround delay on there for a lovely lead sound. There's also a bunch of fixes and usability tweaks, for example, being able to turn the metronome on and off with the metronome switch over here rather than having to turn the overall level up or down is massively appreciated. Again, check out the release notes for all the features. I've just touched on some of my favorites in here, and I'll put this preset up on Exchange and link it in the video description so that you can try it out for yourself. Go and grab this, make some wonderful guitar noises, and enjoy the new beta update for the FM3. I'm sure the full release will be around the corner. If you've got any requests for future Tuesday Tone Tips, pop them in the comments section below, and I'll see you all next week.